PR's top pros talk, strategizing a brand transformation, featuring Meredith Klein, Director of Public Relations at GNC. And here's your host, Doug Simon.
You joined GNC early in 2022, really with the responsibility to transform what they were doing in communications. How do you approach an assignment like that?
It's interesting. I joined the company after spending about a decade in the agency space, building and operationalizing PR functions and teams and providing leadership to local and regional and national client brands. But this opportunity, Doug, really felt serendipitous. It felt like the right opportunity at the right company at the right time with the right leadership. And the idea of being part of transforming a leading global health and wellness brand, supporting people's desire to live well was really appealing. I've been an athlete my entire life. I ran track and field, middle, high school, and college as a Division I athlete at DePaul University. And since then, I've done a half marathon and road races. And so the idea of being tasked with building the brand through media relations, executive comms, partnerships and sponsorships, and LinkedIn and Wikipedia and crisis comms and reputation management was a challenge that I was really excited to undertake. And it's something I continued to be inspired by every day here.
Yeah, and given that this conversation is more of a sprint than a marathon, what are some signs for organizations that they may need to be transforming their image, how they present to the public, and even their communications?
We were founded in 1935 as a health food store, single location here in Pittsburgh, PA, where we remain headquartered today. And our founder started the business selling yogurt during the Great Depression, which was sort of unheard of at the time. But that vision of innovation and forward-looking trends, it's a facet of our business that we've remained very true to. We have a really incredible expert team of in-house scientists and nutritionists and dietitians and researchers. Certainly when we think about transforming GNC, our mission over 87 years hasn't changed. We are very much committed to helping people live well, but listening to our consumers and understanding how and where they want to shop and what they need to achieve their goals helps to influence where we know we need to transform. So, for us, whether it was looking at adapting our curated product assortment, or introducing new products and brands, or even looking at how we transformed the shopping experience and really doubling down on that omni-channel touch point methodology, we really wanted to focus on helping people meet their goals. So as a communicator, knowing that it's time to transform to me is about what the consumer is telling you, what the market is telling you, and where you can really differentiate and build a niche for yourself. And it's okay for that to adapt over time. Again, our mission has stayed the same, but how we deliver on it has certainly transformed in nearly 100 years.
Right. And the pandemic obviously forced so many brands to have an accelerated transformation. Also, as we're talking before the start of 2023, a new year is also a time for reflection and transformation. What are some of the things you need to think of from a strategy perspective if you're considering a transformation?
It's an interesting question because I think for us, when we look at our PR efforts, we are deploying an always-on PR news bureau. So we are looking at opportunities to tell our story through, original company updates or, collaborating with reporters and editors like yourself to make sure we're providing expert input and insight, to listening and hearing what our consumers are needing and applying that feedback. But it's not just enough to be always on and to be pushing that message forward. You also have to be able to take a step back and, to your point, reflect. So, reporting out, analyzing, and understanding what's working in our strategy, what's not. What stories are we telling? What are we not telling? What matters most to our consumers, and how do we deliver that message in a way that is most connected to their needs and is going to be most closely aligned with where they need that support? Taking then those insights and learnings and layering them onto the research and the consumer trends and the consumer journeys really allows us to adapt as those consumer preferences shift. So looking at 23, we're in the midst of that planning process and understanding, okay, where did we excel in 22? Where are the opportunities to thrive? And then what research do we need to put in place from a brand audit standpoint to say, okay, where do we go here? Because everything we do strategically to make it work has to be based on data and research and insights, and then coupling that, with the human aspect.
When you talk about transformation, authenticity is a key part of that. How do you keep that going?
I feel like we've heard for the last several years the rising importance of authenticity. Whether you're building a corporate brand, a personal brand, you're engaging with people one-on-one. I think for us, authenticity has to transcend all facets of our organization. When you look at the products and brands we offer, we really focus on being as transparent and diligent in what we create and what we offer and how we're presenting it to consumers. And then when you look at how you're operating from a business standpoint, whether you're talking to our executive team or to a coach in your local GNC, you want to make sure that you're feeling like you're building a relationship. And that's very important, I think, to the culture of what we do and what we create. So being authentic to me is more than just being honest and transparent. It's honoring that legacy that you have and being very focused on where you want to be and creating an open dialogue with your stakeholders to build that connection and to reinforce that trust.
Of interest for many of our viewers who may be working with so-called legacy brands, how do you make sure you keep what's good about what people think of the brand, even though it's evolved, while still moving it forward? That's a very tight rope to walk.
And this is me, but I really think that we're very fortunate that we have such a storied history. Again, thinking about where we started in 1935 and the fact that here we are in 2022, and we have grown into, approximately 65 countries around the world, and we have this incredible expert in-house team. We really work to respect and honor that legacy and that heritage of leadership and innovation and forward progress, and then coupling that with the modernity of what trends, what products, what brands, what services consumers need to thrive and to live well. And we are very much structured and have invested, our heart and soul in being able to adapt and be nimble from a business standpoint, and then from a communication standpoint, articulating those shifts in a timely fashion so that consumers know, hey, it's Q4. I need to make sure I'm stocking up on my multivitamins or my VitaPack programs, right, because I want to be preventative health focused right now, all the way to, January comes after the holiday season, you're roaring and ready to get back onto a good, healthy, regimen. What do you need to solve for that? And how do we help you get connected? So it's a combination, I think, of respecting where you've been, looking to the future, but continuing to put the consumer at the core of what we do and articulating and providing them the content, resources, and insights they need to live well.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say, because sort of analogous to everyone's sort of New Year trip. Okay, I'm going to live healthier at the start of the year, and keeping it with your PR messaging. You also have a level of consistency for these messages and transformations to stick in the public mind. Any tips for people on how to go about doing that?
I always talk about the idea that our messaging has to be consistent, cohesive, and connected. Those allow you to be able to build that continuity in the consumer's mindset and cut through a competitive landscape. So whether you're looking at messaging in an article or a blog post, or having one of our executives do a speaking engagement, or our coaches at the store, or online chatting with a coach if you're on gnc.com and trying to find the right products, it's all about equipping folks with the right messages that feel authentic to us, that are honest, they're transparent, and continuing to remind people, of what differentiates you. And for GNC, I very much believe that to be our heritage of innovation. The fact that our products are science-backed, and the fact that you really are able to get that personalized, customized experience, regardless of where you're interfacing with our brand, because we've built out a way and a mechanism to support our consumers at their discretion.
Yeah, and Meredith, obviously among our audience, there are a lot more people who are sort of recreational athletes, even recreationally competitive athletes, who haven't necessarily succeeded at your level of being a Division I athlete. How do athletics help you develop some of your problem-solving skills? And might there be any hope for people who, maybe I'm like regaling my family with my success on a day in an over 40 softball league? Can some of those same ideas still apply to the larger group to help them grow in their role?
I'm a big believer in the idea that the name on the front of the jersey is a lot more important than the name on the back. And so that idea that we succeed together, we fail together, but at the end of the day, we're all part of Team GNC is a very important part of how I operate as an individual contributor, how I lead as a manager, how I interface as a partner. So that's a big piece of it. And I would say the other piece that really drives me is, I would say both my personal and professional ethos is to leave things better than I found them. And so that's been a guiding light in all of the decisions that I make is how do I come in, positively contribute, help to drive transformation in service of what our business and perhaps more importantly, our consumers need to ultimately know that the GNC of tomorrow is better than the GNC of yesterday. And so for other folks looking to drive that transformation, those are the two big pieces. It's about teamwork, transformation, and staying focused on the end goal.
And that's a really great insight that, especially when you're looking at transformation, it's not going from A to B, it may be from A to Z. But if each day you're going to advance through the alphabet, you'll be in much better shape. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
Transformation, it's definitely top of mind for everyone right now, but I think the big takeaway is staying concentrated on what your consumers need is going to be the guiding light that's going to help that transformation stick.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.